We snuck into an abandoned amusement park, and one ride was still working. No generators, no battery backups, just raw, impossible motion. My friends Leo and Sarah and I had been urban exploring for years, but Joyland was different. The air didn't just feel cold, it felt heavy, like the atmosphere was pressing against our skin the moment we crossed the rusted perimeter fence. We reached the center of the park where the grand carousel stood. It was a skeletal remain of wood and chipped paint, or at least it should have been. In the moonlight, the wooden horses looked almost skeletal. Their glass eyes were cracked, and their painted smiles looked more like snarls. We stood there in the absolute silence of the dead park, just staring at it. Leo joked about hot wiring the control booth, but there was nothing left to wire. The copper had been stripped by scavengers years ago. But then, we heard it. A low, rhythmic hum. It wasn't the sound of an engine. It sounded like giant stone gears grinding deep underground. The ground beneath our boots began to vibrate, sending tiny ripples through the puddles of stagnant rainwater. Without a single light turning on, the carousel began to rotate, slowly. The wooden horses didn't just move, they seemed to gallop, their poles sliding up and down with a wet, rhythmic thud. There was no carnival music, just the sound of wood scraping against wood, and the heavy, metallic clack of the central pillar turning. We should have run then. We didn't. Sarah was the first to see it. Sitting on a pale, eyeless horse was a figure. It wasn't a mannequin, and it definitely wasn't a person. It was too thin, its limbs draped over the horse like wet fabric. It sat perfectly still, its head bowed low as the ride picked up speed. As it passed us, the air smelled like old copper in stagnant water. On the third rotation, the figure moved. As the horse swung toward us, its head snapped up, a full 180-degree turn. It didn't have a face, just a smooth, translucent layer of skin stretched over where features should be. It didn't scream, but I felt a sound in my head, a high-pitched frequency that made my ears bleed. It was looking right at me. The carousel began to spin faster than any ride should. The horses were a blur of rotting wood and shadows. The figure reached out a hand, its arm lengthening, stretching across the gap between the ride and where we stood. We scrambled back, but the exit gate we had just walked through was gone. In its place was a wall of rusted carnival booths that hadn't been there a minute ago. We bolted into the darkness, but the park had reorganized itself. Every path led back to the center. Every alleyway ended with the sight of that spinning carousel. The humming music started then, not from speakers, but from the throats of 100 invisible people, all moaning a distorted version of a nursery rhyme, in perfect unison. We eventually found a gap in the fence and collapsed into the car, driving until the sun came up. Later, Sarah checked her GoPro. The footage of the carousel was mostly static and digital artifacts. But for one frame, the image clears. It shows the three of us standing on the carousel, riding the horses, while our actual selves are seen standing on the ground, watching. I don't go out at night anymore, because sometimes, when the house is quiet, I feel that vibration in the floorboards, a low, rhythmic hum. And when I look out my window, I see a single wooden horse standing in the middle of my driveway. It's waiting. Whatever is in Joyland, it doesn't need power to follow you home.